Good evening, and welcome to Footnotes Folly. I am Professor Reginald St. John Pemberton, and tonight we put to sea with the first of Shakespeare's late romances, Pericles, Prince of Tyre. We give you the whole of it, complete and unabridged, in clear modern English. The plain rendering and the asides are my own. This is part 1. Our guide is a ghost, the medieval poet John Gower, risen from his ashes to sing an old tale as a chorus between the acts, and his speeches, mind you, are as much the play as anything spoken on the stage. He carries us first to Antioch, where a glittering king keeps a beautiful daughter and a terrible secret, and where suitors who fail his riddle leave their heads on the palace wall. Young Pericles of Tyre reads the riddle and worse, understands it. From that moment the wide Mediterranean itself becomes his refuge, and his road to Tyre, and thence, one step ahead of a hired knife, to starving Tarsus with ships full of corn. Let us begin.
Gower enters before the palace of Antioch. To sing a song that old was sung, ancient Gower has come from ashes, taking on human weakness to delight your ears and please your eyes. This tale has been sung at festivals, on ember eves and holy feasts. Lords and ladies in their lives have read it as a remedy. Its purpose is to make men noble and the good. The older it is, the better. If you born in these later times, when wit is riper, accept my rhymes, and if hearing an old man sing may bring pleasure to your wishes, I would wish for life, and spend it for you like candlelight. This Antioch then, Antiochus the Great built up, this city as his chief seat, the fairest in all Syria. I tell you what my authors say. This king took a wife, who died and left a daughter, so bright, lively, and fair of face that heaven seemed to have lent her all its grace. The father took desire for her, and drove her into incest. That child, worse father. No one should entice his own blood to evil. Yet custom made what they began by long use, seemed no sin. The beauty of the sinful lady drew many princes there to seek her as a bedfellow, and a companion in marriage pleasures. To prevent that, he made a law, to keep her still and keep men in fear. Whoever asked her for his wife, if he could not explain his riddle, lost his life. So many a man died for her, as those grim faces testify. What follows now I give to the judgment of your eyes, which can best justify my cause.
A delicious theatrical insolence, this Shakespeare stage summons John Gower, dead for 2 centuries, to introduce a story already ancient in his day. The plot is the old romance of Apollonius of Tyre, adored across the Middle Ages. Even the deliberately creaking rhymes are part of the trick, a medieval ghost dusting off a very popular skeleton.
Gower exits. Antiochus, Prince Pericles, and followers enter a room in the palace of Antioch. Young Prince of Tyre, you have been fully told the danger of the task you undertake. I have, Antiochus, and with a soul strengthened by the glory of her praise, I think death no hazard in this enterprise. Music! Bring in our daughter, dressed like a bride fit for the embrace of Jove himself. At her creation, before Lucina ruled her birth, nature gave this dowry to gladden her presence. The Senate house of planets all assembled to knit into her their best perfections. Music plays. The daughter of Antiochus enters. See where she comes, dressed like the spring. The Graces are her subjects, and her thoughts rule over every virtue that gives men renown. Her face is the book of praises, where nothing is read but exquisite pleasures, as if sorrow had been erased from it forever, and angry wrath could never be her gentle companion. You gods who made me a man and govern love, who have inflamed desire in my breast to taste the fruit of that heavenly tree, or die in the attempt, help me, as I am son and servant to your will, to win such boundless happiness. Prince Pericles, who would be son to great Antiochus? Before you stands this fair Hesperides, with golden fruit, but dangerous to touch. Death-like dragons here frighten you fiercely. Her face, like heaven, invites you to gaze on her countless glory, which only merit must win, and without merit, because your eye presumes to reach it, the whole heap must die. Those once famous princes, like yourself, drawn by report and daring through desire, tell you with speechless tongues and pale appearance that, with no covering except that field of stars, they stand here as martyrs, slain in Cupid's wars, and with dead cheeks they advise you to turn back from going on into death's net, which no one can resist. Antiochus, I thank you, for you have taught my frail mortality to know itself, and by these fearful sights to prepare this body, like theirs, for what I must face. Remember, death should be like a mirror, telling us that life is only breath, and trusting it is error. I will make my will then, as sick men do who know the world, see heaven, and feeling pain, no longer clutch at earthly joys as they once did. So I bequeath a happy peace to you and to all good men, as every prince should do, my riches to the earth from which they came, and to you my unstained fire of love. Thus ready for the way of life or death, I wait for the sharpest blow, Antiochus. Since you scorn advice, read the conclusion then. Once it is read, if it is not explained, it is decreed that, like those before you, you yourself shall bleed. Of all who have tried yet, may you prove prosperous. Of all who have tried yet, I wish you happiness. Like a bold champion, I enter the lists, and ask counsel of no thought except faithfulness and courage. He reads the riddle. I am no viper, yet I feed on mother's flesh which did me breed. I sought a husband, in which labour I found that kindness in a father. He's father, son, and husband mild. I mother, wife, and yet his child. How they may be, and yet in two, as you will live, resolve it you. Sharp medicine is the last resort. But O you powers who give heaven countless eyes to watch men's acts, why do they not cloud their sights forever, if this is true, which makes me pale to read it? Fair mirror of light, I loved you, and still could. Pericles takes hold of the princess's hand. If this glorious casket were not stored with evil. But I must tell you now my thoughts rebel, for no man truly has perfection who, knowing sin is within, will touch the gate. You are a fair viol, and your senses are the strings. If played to make man's lawful music, you would draw heaven down and all the gods to listen. But being played upon before your time, only hell dances to so harsh a chime. In truth I care nothing for you. Prince Pericles, do not touch her, on your life, for that is an article in our law as dangerous as the rest. Your time is expired. Either explain now, or receive your sentence. Great king, few love to hear the sins they love to act. It would strike too near yourself for me to tell it. Whoever has a book of all that monarchs do is safer keeping it shut than showing it, for vice, when repeated, is like a wandering wind that blows dust into others' eyes to spread itself. Yet the end of all is bought at this price. The breath is gone, and the sore eyes see clearly. To stop the air would hurt them. The blind mole casts little hills toward heaven to tell that earth is crowded by man's oppression, and the poor worm dies for it. Kind are earth's gods. In vice, their law is their will, and if Jove goes astray, who dares say Jove does ill? It is enough that you know, and it is fitting to smother what grows worse by being more widely known. All love the womb that first bred them, then give my tongue the same permission to love my head. Heaven, if only I had your head! He has found the meaning, but I will smooth it over with him. Young Prince of Tyre, though by the tenor of our strict edict, your misinterpreted explanation might let us proceed to cancel your days, yet hope, springing from so fair a tree as your fair self, tunes us otherwise. We grant you 40 days longer. If by that time our secret is uncovered, this mercy shows we will rejoice in such a son. Until then your entertainment shall be as befits our honor and your worth. All exit except Pericles. How courtesy tries to cover sin, when what is done is like a hypocrite, good in nothing but appearance. If it were true that I interpret falsely, then it would be certain you were not so bad as to abuse your soul with foul incest. But now you are both a father and a son by your untimely embraces with your child, pleasures fitting a husband, not a father, and she is an eater of her mother's flesh by the defiling of her parents' bed. Both are like serpents, which, though they feed on sweetest flowers, still breed poison. Antioch, farewell. Wisdom sees that men who do not blush at actions blacker than night will avoid no course to keep those actions from the light. One sin I know provokes another. Murder is as near to lust as flame to smoke. Poison and treason are the hands of sin, yes, and its shields to push off shame. Then, lest my life be cut down to keep you clear by flight, I will shun the danger that I fear.
Antioch is no imaginary wicked castle on a hill. It was a real Seleucid capital on the Orontes, here turned into a court where the Riddle hides incest in plain sight. Solve it wrongly and you die, solve it rightly and, naturally, the tyrant tries to kill you. Royal logic, flawless, provided one has misplaced one's soul.
Pericles exits. Antiochus re-enters. He has found the meaning, for which we mean to have his head. He must not live to trumpet out my infamy, nor tell the world that Antiochus sins in such a loathed manner. Therefore this prince must die at once, for by his fall my honor must stay high. Who attends us there? Talliard enters. Does your highness call? Talliard, you are of our chamber, and our mind entrusts its private actions to your secrecy. For your faithfulness, we will advance you. Talliard, look, here is poison and here is gold. We hate the Prince of Tyre, and you must kill him. It does not fit you to ask the reason why, because we command it. Say, is it done? My lord, it is done. Enough. A messenger enters. Let your breath cool itself while telling your haste. My lord, Prince Pericles has fled. The messenger exits. As you wish to live, fly after him, and as an arrow shot by a skilled archer hits the mark his eye aims at, so never return, unless you can say, Prince Pericles is dead. My lord, if I can get him within my pistol's length, I will make him sure enough. So farewell to your highness. Talliard, farewell. Talliard exits. Until Pericles is dead, my heart can lend no support to my head. Antiochus exits. Pericles enters with his lords in a room of the palace at Tyre. Let no one disturb us. Why should this change in my thoughts, the sad companion, dull-eyed melancholy, become such a constant guest with me that not even 1 hour in the glorious walk of day, or in peaceful night, the tomb where grief should sleep, can give me quiet? Here pleasures invite my eyes, and my eyes turn away from them. The danger I feared is at Antioch, and its arm seems far too short to strike me here, yet pleasure cannot cheer my spirit, nor can the distance of that danger comfort me. So it is this, the passions of the mind, first conceived by fear of what may happen, are afterward fed and kept alive by care, and what began as fear of what might be done grows older, and becomes care that it not be done. So it is with me. The great Antiochus, against whom I am too small to contend, since he is so great that he can make his will into action, will think I speak, though I swear to silence. It will not help me to say I honor him, if he suspects I may dishonor him, and what might make him blush if it were known, he will stop from ever being known. With hostile forces he will spread over the land, and with the show of war appear so vast that amazement will drive courage from the state. Our men will be conquered before they resist, and subjects punished who never imagined any offense. This care for them, not pity for myself, who am no more than the tops of trees that shield and defend the roots they grow from, makes both my body waste away and my soul languish, and makes me punish myself before he would punish them. Helicanus enters with other lords. May joy and every comfort dwell in your sacred breast, and may your mind, until you return to us, be peaceful and full of comfort. Peace, peace, and let experience speak. Those who flatter the king abuse him, for flattery is the bellows that blows up sin. The thing flattered is only a spark, but flattery gives that spark heat and a stronger glow. Reproof, when obedient and properly offered, suits kings, since they are men and may err. When Master Smoo, tongue here proclaims peace, he flatters you and makes war upon your life. Prince, pardon me, or strike me if you please. I cannot be much lower than my knees. All of you leave us, except see carefully what ships and cargo are in our harbor, and then return to us. Helicanus, you have stirred us. What do you see in our face? The lords leave. An angry brow, dread lord. If there is such a dart in a prince's frown, how dared your tongue move anger into my face? How dare plants look up to heaven, from which they receive their nourishment? You know I have power to take your life from you. Helicanus kneels. I have ground the axe myself. Only strike the blow. Rise, I pray you, rise. Sit down. You are no flatterer. I thank you for it, and heaven forbid that kings should let their ears have their faults hidden from them. You are a fit counselor and servant for a prince, since by your wisdom you make a prince your servant. What would you have me do? Bear with patience the griefs that you yourself lay upon yourself. You speak like a physician, Helicanus, who gives me a medicine that you yourself would tremble to take. Listen to me, then. I went to Antioch, where, as you know, against the face of death, I sought to win a glorious beauty, from whom I might have children, heirs who are arms to princes and joys to subjects. Her face seemed beyond all wonder to my eye. The rest, hear it in your ear, was as black as incest. When my knowledge found that out, the sinful father did not seem to strike me, but to stroke me. Yet you know this, it is time to fear when tyrants seem to kiss. That fear grew so strong in me that I fled here under the cover of a watchful night, which seemed my good protector. Being here, I thought over what had passed and what might follow. I knew him tyrannous, and tyrants' fears do not lessen, but grow faster than the years. If he should suspect, as surely he does, that I might open to the listening air how many worthy princes' blood was shed to keep the blackness of his bed from being laid open, then, to cut off the doubt, he will fill this land with soldiers and pretend I have wronged him. Then all, because of my offense, if I may call it an offense, must feel war's blow, which spares not innocence. Love for all my subjects, and you are one of them, though you now rebuke me for it. Alas, sir! That love drew sleep from my eyes, blood from my cheeks, and filled my mind with thoughts and 1,000 doubts about how I might stop this tempest before it came. Finding little comfort to relieve those doubts, I thought it princely charity to grieve over them. Well, my lord, since you have given me leave to speak, I will speak freely. You fear Antiochus, and I think you rightly fear the tyrant, who either by public war or private treason will take away your life. Therefore, my lord, go travel for a while, until his rage and anger are forgotten, or until the destinies cut his thread of life. Entrust your rule to anyone. If to me day does not serve the light more faithfully than I will serve you. I do not doubt your faith. But what if he wrongs my liberties in my absence? Then we will mingle our bloods together in the earth, from which we had our being and our birth. Tyre, then, I now turn my eyes away from you, and I intend to travel to Tarsus, where I will hear from you, and by your letters I will guide myself. The care I had and still have for my subjects good I lay on you, whose wise strength can bear it. I will take your word for faith, and not ask your oath, for whoever does not shrink from breaking one will surely crack both. But in our proper spheres we will live so complete and secure that time shall never disprove this truth of us both. You showed the brightness of a subject, and I the nature of a true prince. They leave. Talliard enters an antechamber in the palace at Tyre. So, this is Tyre, and this is the court. Here I must kill King Pericles, and if I do not, I am sure to be hanged at home. It is dangerous. Well, I see he was a wise fellow, and had good judgment, who, when he was told to ask whatever he wished of the king, asked that he might know none of the king's secrets. Now, I see he had some reason for it, for if a king orders a man to be a villain, the man is bound by the indenture of his oath to be one. Hush! Here come the lords of Tyre. Helicanus and Ascanius enter with other lords of Tyre. You need not, my fellow peers of Tyre, question me any further about your king's departure. His sealed commission, left in trust with me, speaks clearly enough that he has gone to travel. How? The king gone? If you still wish to be satisfied why he would depart as though without your loving permission, I will give you some light. Being at Antioch. What from Antioch? Royal Antiochus, for what cause I do not know, took some displeasure at him, at least he judged it so. And fearing he had erred or sinned, he chose to correct himself by showing his sorrow. So he has given himself to the sailor's toil, where every minute threatens life or death. Well, I see, I shall not be hanged now, even if I wished it. But since he is gone, the king's seas must satisfy the king. He escaped the land, to perish at sea. I will present myself. He's to the lords of Tyre.
Notice how the play now becomes a map with a heartbeat. Tyre, Antioch, Tarsus, Ephesus, Mytilene, Pentapolis, these are real ancient ports, and the voyage is the skeleton of the old Apollonius of Tyre romance. Pericles flees land for sea, which in Shakespeare's late romances is less scenery than judgment, pharmacy, and trapdoor combined.
Lord Talliard from Antiochus is welcome. I come from him with a message for princely Pericles. But since, upon landing, I have learned your lord has taken himself away on unknown travels, my message must return to where it came from. We have no reason to desire it, since it was entrusted to our master, not to us. Yet before you depart, this we desire. As friends to Antioch, may we feast here in Tyre. They leave. Cleon, governor of Tarsus, enters with Dionyza and others. My Dionyza, shall we sit here, and by telling stories of other people's griefs, see whether they can teach us to forget our own? That would be like blowing on a fire and hoping to put it out. Whoever digs down hills because they rise too high only throws down one mountain to build up a higher one. Oh, my distressed lord, our griefs are just like that. Here they are only felt and seen with misery's eyes, but like groves cut back, they rise higher afterward. O Dionyza, who can lack food and not say he lacks it? Who can hide his hunger until he starves? Our tongues and sorrows sound our deep woes into the air. Our eyes weep until our tongues catch breath enough to proclaim them louder, so that if heaven sleeps while its creatures are in need, our cries may wake its help to comfort them. I will tell the story of our woes, felt for several years, and when I lack breath to speak, help me with tears. I will do my best, sir. This Tarsus, over which I govern, was a city on which plenty held a full hand, for riches scattered herself even in the streets. Its towers raised their heads so high they kissed the clouds, and strangers never saw them without wonder. Its men and ladies strutted so finely dressed and ornamented that each was like the other's mirror to dress by. Their tables were loaded, more to delight the eye than to feed the body. All poverty was scorned, and pride was so great that even the name of help became hateful to repeat. Oh, it is too true! Let's see what heaven can do. By this change in our fortune, those mouths which only lately found earth, sea, and air all too little to satisfy and please them, though those realms gave their creatures in abundance, are now like houses spoiled for lack of use. They are starved for lack of exercise. Those palates which, less than 2 summers ago, had to have new inventions to please their taste, would now be glad of bread, and would beg for it. Those mothers who, to nurse their babies tenderly, thought nothing too delicate for them, are ready now to eat those little darlings they loved. So sharp are hunger's teeth that man and wife draw lots for who shall die first, so the other may lengthen life. Here stands a lord, and there a lady weeping. Here many sink down, yet those who see them fall have scarcely strength left to bury them. Is this not true? Our cheeks and hollow eyes bear witness to it. Oh, let those cities that drink so deeply from plenty's cup and prosperity, with all their wasteful excess, hear these tears. The misery of Tarsus may become theirs.
Tarsus is no stage name plucked from a poet's hat. It was a real ancient city, later famous as the home of St. Paul. In this old Apollonius tale, Shakespeare and Wilkins make it famine-struck, which gives pride a wonderfully thin waistcoat. Yesterday, delicacies, today, bread. Fortune, as ever, has dreadful table manners.
A lord enters. Where is the lord governor? Here. Speak out the sorrows you bring in such haste, for comfort is too far away for us to expect. We have sighted on our neighboring shore a stately fleet of ships coming this way. I thought as much. One sorrow never comes alone, but brings an heir to succeed it and inherit after it, and so it is with ours. Some neighboring nation, taking advantage of our misery, has filled its hollow ships with soldiers to beat us down, though we are down already, and to make a conquest of unhappy me, where no glory can be won by overcoming us. That is the least thing to fear, for by the look of the white flags they display, they bring us peace and come to us as friends, not enemies. You speak like one untaught in how to report such things. Whoever makes the fairest show often means the most deceit. But let them bring what they will and what they can. What need have we to fear? The ground is the lowest place, and we are already halfway there. Go tell their general we wait for him here, to know why he comes, where he comes from, and what he asks. I go, my lord. The lord exits. Peace is welcome if he comes for peace. If for war, we are unable to resist. Pericles enters with attendants. Lord Governor, for so we hear you are, do not let our ships and the number of our men be like a beacon fire that startles your eyes. We have heard of your miseries as far away as Tyre, and have seen the desolation of your streets. We have not come to add sorrow to your tears, but to relieve them of their heavy burden. These ships of ours, which you might naturally think are like the Trojan horse, filled within with blood, filled veins and waiting to bring destruction, are instead stored with grain to make bread for your needy people, and to give life to those whom hunger has left half dead. The gods of Greece protect you, and we will pray for you. Rise, I pray you, rise. We do not ask for reverence, but for love and harbor for ourselves, our ships and our men. If anyone should fail to repay that, or should answer you with unthankfulness even in thought, whether it be our wives, our children, or ourselves, may the curse of heaven and men follow their evils. Until that time, which I hope shall never be seen, your grace is welcome to our town and to us. We accept that welcome. We will feast here a while, until our frowning stars lend us a smile. They all exit.
And there we leave part 1, with Pericles, the benefactor of Tarsus and still a hunted man. Mark the geography of this act, for it is the skeleton of the whole play. Antioch, with the riddle and the rot Tyre, his own uneasy throne Tarsus, bought with corn in sworn to gratitude. We shall test that oath later, to our sorrow. Next time, in part 2, the sea takes its first payment. A wreck, a lone survivor on the shore of Pentapolis, 3 fishermen with more philosophy than most privy councils, a rusty suit of armor drawn up in a net, and a tournament for the hand of a princess. Mind the footnotes, and beware the folly. And before the lamp goes out, a small request. If something tonight taught you, or surprised you, or simply delighted you, do leave a comment and tell me what it was. And if there is a work, an author, or a tale you should like me to take up next, set it down there as well. I read every one, and many an episode has begun its life as a viewer's suggestion. Until next time.